How's it going, Twitch? My name is Skull, and on behalf of East Asia Soft, welcome to today's stream. Today I am continuing my playthrough of the Redress of Mira, out now for PlayStation and Xbox, and I have an apology to make because I am so bad at this game that I actually completely ruined it for myself last time. Do you remember at the beginning of the last stream where I went to General and turned off the crosshair? That is why I couldn't pick up the book, because I didn't see where I had to pick up the book. The crosshair is on now. I'm looking forward to continuing this. This has been a very fun walking simulator regardless. It's been fun to play through the game and learn a bit more of the lore and the backstory. This is one of the better walking sims I've played. So now that I know how to pick up the books, I should be able to continue and enjoy having some fun today. I don't know if we're going to play through the entire game, but we are going to have some fun. There, see the crosshair? The whole reason I turned it off was because I liked being able to further immerse ourselves into the game. But hey, if it's the difference between playing the game but not being able to pick up the books, or playing the game with that and being able to pick up books, I'll take this every single time. So yeah, here we go. So, trying to remember the story so far. Myra's father cannot pay taxes to the Baron, and there's another girl whose father is a mercenary who keeps being hired by the Baron to persuade people to pay their appropriate taxes. That's where we're at, and the Baron apparently has a new job for the mercenary. Oh good, more crows. About to get another free trophy. Even if I do finish the game today, I don't think it's possible to get a platinum trophy in a single playthrough, because you need to get the good ending and the bad ending. So, although frankly, if I can get the plat in this game, I'd be happy. Crows of Hunting God. Total trophy progress is only 11%. That's amazing. We have shoot off the first 7 crows. There's 21 crows and 2 different endings, which means we are only about a third of the way through the game as far as the trophies go. And look at the visuals of this game too. This is amazing. I can interact with this.
I need to place something on it.
Okay. Can we go in here? Well, I see a lever, so apparently we need to get it there somehow. I think I need to grab something to put on there so I can get into that. So I could pull the lever, Kronk. Okay, I don't think I've been here yet. I have not been here. Okay, so I guess I grabbed this box to put on the other box. That sounds about right. So now if we do this, and up, it would help if I turn back on the run. It's a toggle, it's not like press to go. There we go. Just like that. Oh? Oh, cool! It's like a Skytram. Very cool. Wow, look at that view. Man, I wish that a view like this existed in real life. It probably does, or at least something similar. I used to work at a summer camp in Colorado that had a view kind of like this. It wasn't quite as misty and there weren't nearly as many birds. I wonder if the birds are significant of something or if they're just there to fill in the scenery. Hard to tell. Oh, look, there's a little waterfall there. Oh, man, what a view, man. What a view. It's preventing me from going forward so I can't accidentally fall off. That's nice of them. Ah, it's gorgeous. I mean, you could even look behind us and get a nice view. Look at that, man. I think I visited like a national park that looks similar to this. Ah, it's gorgeous. And here we are now. Guess we're not quite there yet. Oh, it's beautiful. Down we go. Oh, it's just beautiful. Take a moment to admire that scenery. And the cursor right smack dab in the center of the screen. Anyway. Oh, the music just adds to it, too. We got some ruins here. Man, this music is so ethereal. I love it. Does a good job of transporting you to another time, another place. Is this an open world section? Do we get to explore a little bit? Don't mind if I do. I want that. Got that. Gonna speed up just a little here just to make sure there's nothing in the corners I might have missed. Doesn't look like it. Okay, here's another chest. Time to look inside and see if this reticle helps me get the book. There's nothing I could say to excuse myself. There was a time when Tudixo used to ask questions, but after watching his fellow mercenaries disappear for doing so, he had learned to keep his mouth shut. Now, the Baron continued, I have another mission for you, and like the previous ones, it involves people who have defaulted on their tax. They claim that their harvest was decimated by locusts. But should I be made to suffer for something that I had no hand in causing? Tudixo stopped looking around the hall where food was still being wasted, right in front of the Baron. No, my lord. Good. The Baron nodded proudly. So, you will go to this clan, and you'll send them a message for me. And what would the message be? Tudixo asked. The Baron thought for a moment, and then a gleam appeared in his eyes. Set fire to their farms. Since they refuse to give me the portion of their harvest that was mine, then they shall go hungry. The Baroness pointed to Tudixo. And this time, remember that you are only there to deliver the message from your lord, not to show them mercy. Keeping his curled hands by his side, Tudixo forced himself to nod and bowed his head before turning around and walking out of the hall. Just one last time, he was going to do the Baron's dirty bidding. Then never again. Well, I think we know what's going to happen next. Can we climb this? Oh, we can. Kinda. Kinda. We can kinda climb this. Yes, we can climb this. Cool. Okay. Look at this. Doesn't just look like the ruins of a place, it looks like the ruins of a castle that's been lived in and abandoned for hundreds of years. Guess we go this way. Slowing down the speed just so we can take our time. It sounded like a woodpecker. There it is. Is that a tiger? Wait, what am I looking at? Okay, that's the mercenary. Looks like a big... I assume that's a pet. And then the Baron and Baroness down there on the bottom right. Okay. Just what we just saw. Yeah, the cursor is definitely going to help. I feel stupid now for having turned it off. Oh, what's this? A cutscene? This is a cutscene. I wasn't expecting one of these. It is night now. She's sleeping. I wonder if she's dreaming about something. This is someone else. Ugh. Okay. I don't know what this is all about. I really hope this is like a dream that Mira is having. Does that look like her shadow? I hope so. And all the colors are so bright and overblown, it's eerie. That's the best way I can describe this, is just eerie. Where is this place? I've been inside of caves before, and this doesn't look like a cave. It looks like it's a cutout of mud slabs. Maybe going into a cave now, though. Very eerie. Got a staff. We can drop the staff if we want. Why would we want to? Oh, weird. Creature walking around. I'll go this way where the creature isn't going then. The game's not allowing me to run. I really do think this has to be a dream. You know how in a dream where you're forced to go slow and no matter how hard you try, you can't force yourself to run? It's kind of like that. guess we need to go this way. Got some crystals here. Oh, we can interact with that. Oh, we put the staff in it. What does that do? Yeah, I figured something like that might happen. Okay, just a dream. Ugh. I hate jump scares. Ugh. Okay, are y'all awake yet? Good morning. It's that woodpecker again. Ooh, a giant squirrel. We have big squirrels where I live too. They get really big, like the size of a cat. Maybe not that big, but they're bigger than most other places I've been, that's for sure. I wonder if there was any significance to that dream, or if it was just thrown in there by the dev as a sort of a way to break up the monotony. Because it broke up the monotony, that's for sure. There's that woodpecker. Okay, so there's woodpeckers in this place. Okay, there's a lever here. Very good. Doors are open. Just for me. Okay, I wonder what the doors are for. Is it to keep something in or to keep people out? Here we go, sliding again. Oh, this chest is placed in such prominence, you don't have to go out of your way to find it at all. I guess that means if there's one chest that you read, make sure it's this one. The next morning, the Baroness got out of bed, and after she was bathed and dressed by her servants, she stepped out of her room. First, she checked on her husband and found him still snoring in bed, a goblet of wine just out of reach of his outstretched hand. The Baroness knew it would be at least noon before the Baron woke up from his slumber. Time enough for her to do what she wanted to do. She walked out of his bedroom and closed the door behind her, not bothering to be quiet. As she walked down the hallway, her nose turned up at the sickly bright yellow paint that covered the wall. It was part of the royal colors, but she had always hated it and tried several times to get the Baron to paint over it. Unfortunately, changing the decor of the chateau was the one thing she could not convince her husband to do. It was not just the yellow walls, but the ivies that climbed up the chateau walls and the large paintings of his ancestors that hung on the wall. For centuries, the Baron and his family had ruled over the lands surrounding the chateau, levying taxes on the clans that lived on the lands and doing nothing much else. As long as the taxes were paid on time, the people were left alone to their own devices. The only time a problem arose was when the clan refused to or was unable to pay their taxes. No mercy was shown to defaulters. It was a lesson the Baron had learned from his father before him, and one he now practiced. As for the Baroness, she never really cared what her husband did, as long as she could also do what she wanted. It was an arrangement that worked for both of them. As she walked down the hallway, she passed several mercenaries patrolling the chateau. All the mercenaries stopped to bow before the Baroness as she walked by, but she ignored them. She would have to talk to the Baron about the mercenaries. She didn't mind having them patrol the chateau's grounds, but there were just too many of them in the chateau. There had been no incidents on the chateau grounds since Cesaron's disappearance, and having this many mercenaries cost a fortune. She didn't really care about the money, she just hated having so many eyes watching her movement. As she walked down the hallway, she stopped in front of a door, and after looking around to make sure she was alone, slipped into the room and closed the door behind her. Walking to the far wall in the room, she pushed it, and a hidden door opened up. The Baroness stepped behind the door and locked it back in place. Then she inched her way along a narrow corridor until she stepped out into a dungeon. Her face broke into a smile when she saw the man on his knees in the middle of the room. Well, left or right. It's very likely these both lead to the same spot. Maybe not. Crows of Pilgrim. Can I interact with these? No, I cannot. I guess I'll go the other way. Okay. Let me check something real quick. Okay, we haven't missed any crows. I feel like those crows we just shoot away are probably easy to miss, though. If you go right, you might miss them. So, interesting. I was wondering if we had missed any. Oh, that was close. Okay. All good. There's a low rumble. I feel like we've heard that rumble before. I don't think anything came from it. I think it was just there. Now here we are again. And we could climb that vine. Looks like we have to. Yep. Do not go in the water. Just letting my bosses know the crosshair fixed everything. Okay, here I am on the other side. Man, there's just something about old buildings. Something about them, all the history from them. Buildings that, all these old buildings made of stone that lasted for hundreds of years, maybe 1,000 or more. There's just something about them. There's another green bunny. give me your power. Thank you for your power. There's the Baroness. This definitely looks like something I can interact with. Yeah, maybe not. I take it I need to push this pillar over and climb up it. That is exactly what I do. Wow. Don't know how I ever figured that out. Left or right again. More crows. Crows of Ascension. Is it just me, or are we knocking out the crows a little faster than we were the other day? There's that rumble again. Okay. Another book. There we go. The man's hands were locked in shackles with chains that hung from the roof of the room. There were cuts and bruises all over his body, and his clothes hung around him in tatters, leaving him almost naked. The room was dark and stuffy, the only source of light and air coming from a small window close to the ceiling. The Baroness knelt by the chained man and raised his head, a broad smile on her face as she lovingly stroked his bruised cheeks. "Good morning, Cesaron," she said lovingly to her prisoner. The right-hand knight of the Baron moaned, his eyes pleading with her. Blue battle paint covered the upper half of his face, almost like the Baroness was mocking his helpless state. His mouth had been stuffed with a rag and then taped shut. Not that it would have mattered if he screamed. The room was so deep in the secret part of the dungeon that very few people knew existed. No one would care about screams coming from the dungeons. "I've missed you so much," the Baroness said, tucking his hair behind him. "Have you missed me too?" She waited for an answer, then burst into laughter. "Of course you've missed me. You love me." Her hands began to move across his body, pinching and caressing him. "Stop acting like you don't want my touch. Remember how you used to beg me to touch you?" She grabbed his hair and shoved his face into her cleavage. "How we would spend hours in bed when my husband went to see the king, both of us laughing at him. You loved the way I touched you then, didn't you?" She stepped back and looked at the tray in one corner of the room. The jug of water was nearly empty, but the loaf of bread left there still looked good for one more day. Then she turned back to Cesaron. "Remember the rules. I get to do what I want to do with you, and if you make me happy, you get to eat. Maybe if you put me in a good mood when I'm leaving, I'll even bring some meat for you when I come next." Terror crept into Cesaron's eyes, and he shook his head frantically, but the Baroness was no longer listening to him. Walking to one corner of the room, she grabbed a chair and a bag. She placed the chair in front of Cesaron and sat down. Then the Baroness reached into the bag and pulled out a metal clamp. Ignoring the mews of protest, she grabbed his nipple and snapped the clamp around it, laughing when he screamed so loud it broke past his gag and his mouth. She's torturing the poor guy, man. Oh, man. So, wonder what's going on with that. What is her deal? Oh, God. Made it. What is wrong with evil ladies? When they're evil, they get evil. Oh, God. There's so many places I could go. Anything here? Well, I could grab this. No, I need to destroy that, which means I'll have to come back to this. Is there anything back here? Yeah, another one of these things. Got it. And finally, anything this way. Doesn't look like I can interact with that. So I guess we just break down this wall real quick. Sure looks like it's a wall that's going to turn into a floor. What? Oh god, don't tell me I just soft locked this game. No, that recharged, so... What did I miss? Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Oh, that made that raise up. That is what that does. Now that is interesting. Can I get up that? Yes, I can. There we go. That's how that works. Got it. Rats. Oh, rats. Another cutscene. Don't do another jump scare.
What's in there?
Is that a flashlight? Got a dolly zoom. I cannot move. It's a good doggo.
You're cute, all right. Blue like the sky. I will call you Skyer.
Skyer. Okay. I saw in the options menu something about Skyer, so... Like, if we go to controls, you'll see right there, R1 is send Skyer, so... I was wondering what that was about, now we know. We have befriended a good doggo. Good doggo's our friend, a German Shepherd with glowing blue eyes. Well, Skyer went one way. Glad I went this way. Music is so cool too. It's beautiful. Here we go. Poor guy. Why is she doing this to him? Well, I can interact with this, but I can't really do anything about it. Like, I was hitting the X button, nothing happened, so... I wonder if we're supposed to, like... I'll figure it out after I read this next book. I think I need to grab these statues and put them down there on top of those. That's what I think, maybe. 3 hours later, the Baroness opened another secret door in the dungeon and stepped out. This one led to the chateau garden. She stopped to make sure she looked all right. There was a bloodstain on the sleeve of her dress, but it was barely visible on her black dress. She tried as much as she could not to draw blood when she played with Cesaron, but sometimes it was hard not to. 3 months ago, the two of them were having an affair. Everyone knew Cesaron was devoted to the Baron, and so no one suspected a thing. Then Cesaron had suffered from an attack of his conscience and decided to put a stop to the affair. The Baroness didn't want to stop. Even though he was not the first person she would have an affair with, she had enjoyed him the most. Wicked. Usually when the Baroness got tired of her current paramour, she arranged to have them killed, but she could not bring herself to kill Cesaron, so she drugged him and imprisoned him instead. And every once in a while she would head down there to play with him. After confirming that she looked presentable, the Baroness made her way through the garden until she arrived in the courtyard. Usually there was no one there, but today she found the mage practicing his magic with an apprentice by his side. "Morning, my lady." The mage bowed before her. He glanced at his side and saw his apprentice still standing. "Bow before the Baroness, you idiot!" The flustered apprentice quickly bowed his head too. The Baroness mumbled a reply and walked past them without stopping. Slacken watched the Baroness walk away. This was the first time he had seen her so close, and she was even more beautiful than he had heard people describe her. She also looked terrifying. Something about her eyes when he looked at them. "Slack on," the mage bellowed, glaring at him. "Stop daydreaming and go back to mastering your spells." Slackon nodded and raised his staff to continue his training. The bright green robe he was wearing was too big for his skinny frame, and he shoved the sleeves up. His blonde hair fell across his forehead, almost covering his eyes. He was also very proud of the single lock of hair that stood on his chin. Slackon dreamed of being the chateau's mage one day, and he knew just how much the Baron loved it when the mage put on a show, so he had to get better at performing magic. Concentrating on the rabbits in the cage across the courtyard, he began to wave his wand. "Taradante ame lixudos." Slackon said the spell and stared at the rabbits, confused when nothing happened. He stepped forward and spun his staff one more time. "Taradante Emilio Lixudonata!" he screamed again. This time the cage doors flew open and the rabbits sprang free. Before Slackon could react, the rabbits were still hopping to freedom. "You idiot!" the mage yelled, glaring at Slackon. "You're supposed to be practicing how to open doors, not how to open portals." "That's what I did," Slackon replied, looking confused. "Not from the look of things. Go and get all the enchanted rabbits back and put them in their cages. Now!" the mage yelled when Slackon just stood there. "Yes, sir." Running off, Slackon began to chase after the rabbits. Okay. Cannot move those. Hello. Can move this. There's a lever. No, there's another one over there. Okay, I get it. I need to grab both of them. I guess I grab one to open up the cage to grab the other. Now the question is, which one do I put it on? There we go. Now, how do I get up there? Oh, wait a minute. It just opened up right here. Okay. So we got into a kind of a puzzle. Oh. Now that's cool. Okay, so grab this, put it on the other one. Just gonna go down there now. That opened up. There's crows right there. Excellent. So now we go back up, we go with Skyer, and leave. So I wonder what Slack-On's role is in all of this. Why would they suddenly introduce him? There's a moose! Big boy. That's not a moose, actually. What is that? That's an elk. That's huge. That's what it is. Crows of Deja Vu. You're pretty, aren't you? Hello. How are you? Okay, gotta figure out how to open up that door. Can I just walk up to it? I cannot. Okay, there's gotta be a switch or something. Suddenly I can interact with the elk. I can ride it. Let's go.
Let's go!
That's what I said. Oh, look at Skyer. It's frolicking. Frolic and leap. Ah, this is a really pretty game, isn't it? Oh, there's something. Oh, it's a fire. I was like, there's something glowing over there. Oh, we got some floating rocks up there. Some Hallelujah Mountains from Avatar. That looks like a church. You know, I just realized we had a prologue for this game, and then it flashes back to 2 days earlier. Well, Mira has slept since then, so this would be, I guess, 1 day prior? If they've got the continuity down anyway. It's 1 day prior, like the day before the confrontation between Mira and the girl. Okay. Should be a bunny or something this way, right? Maybe. Yep, there it is. Got it. Thank you, dear, for the epic cutscene. That was fun. Yeah. Okay. The mage with the rabbits. That's a big tree. Look at that. Where are we now? Thought I saw something this way. Nah, I guess not. It all goes the same way. No hidden nooks and crannies this time. Wow, Skyr went way over there. Can I go in here? Cannot. I'm just going to have to find a building I can go in. There's plenty of buildings to go around. Surely one of them I can go in and find a, a book. Cannot jump the fence though. Nope. I have to check every single building. I have to. There we go. And that's why you check every building. Why can we go in here specifically if there's not a chest? Can't interact with anything either. There's no chest in here. Why would it let me in here if there's nothing here for me? That is interesting. Straight up, I didn't see a chest. Been through these already, haven't I? I don't remember. Okay, well, that's that. I can't, there's no buildings. Like, the one building I could go in, there's nothing in there. Unless I'm completely blind. Oh, good. This again. Wait, I can... Oh, for a second. There we go. Okay.
Stand on that.
There we go. I guess we could just walk on this then. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Okay, more huts. Looks like a little side area here we could go through as well. More crows. We're getting to some missable crows now. Crows of Ranchuna. Okay, I haven't missed any. Also, that's like the halfway point as far as crows go. Just kind of interesting to me that you actually can miss. Ooh, speaking of crows, there's a crow in there. Looks like there's a hot air balloon just beyond it. I think that's one of the floating islands. Still no chest? What's going on here? What's with all these buildings that we can go in, but there's no reason to? Just gonna take that real quick. There is a chest here. Let's go. All right. And I can pick it up. The closer Tudixo got to his destination, the heavier his boot felt, and he shuffled even more slowly. The village was not too far off the Baron's chateau, but weariness was not why he moved slowly. His heart was heavy because of the task that lay before him. As he got closer to the village, he saw people returning from their farms. They stopped to hail him. Mistaking his sorrow for exhaustion, they offered him water. Tudixo refused their offer, guilt like molten brass in his throat. "Take me to your chief," he said instead. "I have come with a message from the Baron." At the mention of the Baron's name, the people stiffened, and a faint hush went over the crowd. "Come with me," one man finally said. "I'll take you to the chief." Tudixo nodded and followed him. They traveled through the village, and Tudixo watched the children playing in the streets, the sound of their laughter grating on his ears. Men and women stopped to greet each other, smiles on their faces. Very soon, those smiles would turn to sorrow. A few minutes later, he was standing in front of the chief. Henrik stared at the man that stood in front of his hut with a message from the Baron. He was partly relieved that the Baron had sent just one man. He had heard stories of other clans that had been made to face an army of the Baron's mercenaries. "Welcome," Henrik said with a small smile. I hope your sojourn here was without troubles." Tudixo replied with a curt nod. A mercenary could not be seen to be showing mercy to his victims. He had a reputation to protect. "I have come with a message from the Baron." Henrik interrupted him. "You must be so weary after such a long trek. Come into my hut and soothe your throat with something cold." Tudixo fixed a glare on his face. "I am afraid the time for courtesy is past. The Baron demands to know why you insult his generosity." Henrik immediately shook his head. "We did no such thing." "But you did, when you refused to pay back the debt you owe him," Tudixo continued. "The Baron allowed your people to farm on his land, and in return you promised to remit to him an agreed-upon amount each year. My people's claim to his land stretches back for centuries, long before your Baron's ancestors set foot here. This is our land," Henrik snarled. "And in return for allowing you to keep the land, your people made a deal with the crown," Tudixo replied immediately. "A deal you have now broken." Henrik sighed. "Through no fault of ours. The locusts lay waste to most of our harvest. We have nothing left to spare. Not if we hope to survive until the next harvest." then let this be a reminder and a warning of what happens when you refuse to pay your taxes. Well, I think we all know what's going to happen next. Oh, I came from there. Okay. I was like, it looks pretty far out to be a hidden path. There's a reason why. It's not. It's where we just came from. Got it. Okay, here we go.
Why is this not opening, Skyer?
What in the world?
Die!
No!
They killed the doggo! Oh. Why would you do that?
Ah!
Again, glad I got God mode on.
Die! Take this!
Yeah, it's rumbling in the controller, so I know I would be taking damage if God mode wasn't on.
Die! Die! Take this! Take that!
This is a little annoying that you need to gather mana from all three of the rabbits.
Ah!
Again, glad I got God mode on, because I would not be able to do this normally. I don't know anyone who could.
Take that! Take this!
How was that missing? I was aiming right at him and it went off to the right.
Die! Die!
You first.
Die!
Be my guest.
Ah! Die!
This is taking so freaking long. He killed the pupper and now making us work to avenge him.
Take this! Next time I will sing you to a sad ending.
What does that even mean? What kind of a weird... Skyer, why isn't this opening? Skyer opens it and dies. Like, what? Where did that come from? Wait, I just realized that guy had blue war paint on. Is that Salazar? Is that the guy who was in the... There's no way that was the guy who was in the dungeon, right? Huh. That tree is very blurry when it moves. And not anymore. Maybe it's just a thing that happens when you're far. Yeah, the trees just seem to be a little blurry when they move in the background. Well, we just saw the dog die. That guy is going to pay. Cue the sad music. Poor Skyer. We knew him for so little. About 15 minutes. This is definitely a side path here. Maybe not. Nope, this is definitely a side path. Here we go. Okay, yeah, that was a side path. We went that way. If we go this way, it just takes us straight to the huts. Perfect. We did not miss anything. No chests in here. No chest in here. Chest in here. I'm very confused what the point is of all these buildings you can go into that have nothing inside them. Especially when there's an even mixture of buildings that you can't go into at all. More crows. Crows of Jim. Who is Jim? Another chest there. I'll check up here real quick. Then go down and open it up. First try every time with the reticle. Tudixo reached for the torch strapped to his side and struck it against the ground. The torch burst into flames and he hoisted it above his head. Henrik's eyes opened in shock when he saw the fire. "What are you going to do?" "What I was ordered to do," Tudixo replied, as he began to walk through the village toward the field of crops. "Please," Henrik pleaded, walking after him. "Tell the Baron we would pay the debt that we owe next harvest, and even more." "Too late," Tudixo replied. His eyes softened a bit. "I have no choice in the matter. I have to do what the Baron says, or..." He shook his head and gritted his jaw to strengthen his resolve. Then he began to walk through the farm, setting fire to the crops. As Tudixo carried out his task, he could hear people shouting and pleading with him to stop, but he shut them out. He set fire to everything in his path, from small vegetable plants to big fruit-bearing trees. As he walked deeper and deeper into the farm, he suddenly came to a tall and mighty tree. It was ancient, and his heart broke at having to destroy something so great. But he had his orders. As he lifted his torch to set fire to the root of the tree, he heard a great shout behind him and turned around to see Henrik rushing towards him. "Please," Henrik pleaded with him. Do not set fire to that tree. It is sacred to my people. I am sorry, Tudixa replied, pity in his eyes. But the Baron's order was clear. I am to burn everything that grows. As he raised the torch to light the tree, Henrik rushed towards him and knocked it out of his hand. Tudixa immediately unsheathed his sword. Think carefully and don't act rashly, Tudixa said as he pointed the sword at Henrik. Attack me, and the Baron would send a horde of mercenaries through your village, killing everyone, including women and children. It is just a tree. It is not just a tree, Henrik replied sorrowfully as he watched Tudixa set fire to the tree. With the whole farm now in flames, Tudixa turned away and began to walk away from the town. Behind him, he could hear the sound of people crying and wailing. As Henrik watched the sacred tree go up in flames, he threw his head back and howled at the sky. The loss was like a deep wound in his spirit, like a part of him had been ripped out and cast aside. Black smoke rose from the sacred tree and cast a shadow over the clan. Henrik wondered if he had done the right thing. His ancestors had sacrificed their lives to keep the tree safe, yet he had stood by and done nothing. Falling to the ground, he began to wail. That's sad. Where do I go? This way, I think. Ah, such a sad picture. Ooh, frogs. Look at them just hopping along. We got the sorrowful music playing now, rightfully so. Got these old wooden planks filled with moss, I guess. There's just something about old places. Oh, look at that. Looks like a forest of old. Oh, another chest. This path leads straight to it. Another important one, I suppose. Mira was helping her mother in the kitchen when a stranger stopped at her door and asked to see her father. She had watched her father plead with the stranger and followed them through town to the farm. Mira had stood by helplessly like everyone else as the strangers set fire to their crops and then to the sacred tree. She had watched her father fall to the floor and begin to cry. Grief-stricken and angry, she took to her heels and ran away from the crowd. She did not know where she was going, only that her heart hurt and she wanted it to stop. Somehow, she found herself at the riverbank and she fell to the ground and began to cry. For what felt like the longest time, she cried until she had no more tears left, and she stopped and stared at the river. She wondered what her father was going to do now. With the crops gone, how would they eat, much less hope to pay back the Baron? She picked up a stone from the ground and flung it towards the river, watching as it skipped several times before sinking. She grunted with exertion as she threw another one. Then she heard a noise behind her and turned around to see Lurvin hiding in the bushes. Mira shook her head at Lurvin. You are very terrible at hiding. He stepped out and stared at his toes. I've been watching you cry for a while. I didn't know if you wanted company. You know about the tree? She asked him. Lurvin nodded and turned toward the village where the smoke from the sacred tree was still burning. Everyone is talking about it. He turned to Mira, a sympathetic look in his eyes. I know how much that tree meant to you and your family. Not just us, Mira replied, fighting back the tears. It belongs to the whole clan. Lurvin wanted to tell her it was just a tree, but he knew that to Mira it wasn't. I'm sorry, he said instead. Mira could no longer hold back her tears and she started to cry again. This time Lurvin came forward and hugged her. She hugged him back, wrapping her arms around his body and leaning into his strength. I wish I were there, Lurvin whispered into her hair. Maybe I could have done something. Don't beat yourself up, Mira replied. Even my father could not do anything. I just hate to see you cry, he said, hugging closer. It makes me sad. Mira pulled back so she could look into Lurvin's eyes. They had been friends since they were children. It was hard to tell when she realized she loved him. Maybe she'd always known, just like she knew now, that she wanted to kiss him. Lurvin stopped Mira before she could kiss him. Not here. You're always so shy about getting caught, she said, giggling at him. To the barn, then? She asked him. He nodded and raced off along the riverbank until they arrived at the barn. Okay. Lurvin isn't just a friend. Guess should have known. Mira was making it very clear she's not a child anymore, and this guy that she hangs out with has been friends since they were children, and, well, put two and two together. Got more buildings up here. What a very pretty sight. Guess we're not going inside the buildings, we're just going to walk underneath them. This is a place where water doesn't seem to hurt us too much. The sky is so bright. Overly bright. Is that the sun up there? It might be the sun. That bright white spot right there, above center. Yep, we went the right way. Okay, multiple directions. I'm going to go this way first. Probably a rabbit or something. No. Okay. I'm going to check real quick. See if I have a way of getting back once I go this way. Okay, I feel like this is eventually where I need to go to progress through the story. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to check out the other paths first. Wow, those trees are bending wildly. No fall damage. Okay, so I guess now we'll try... Well, first I guess I'll go this way. Another... Yep, more crows. See, this is what I'm talking about. Crows of Soul Orb. You could totally miss out on some of these things if you don't check out every single path. Although I guess if you need this bunny, then you'd have to backtrack anyway. Gimme. Can I go in here? No. And no. Okay. Back this way, then. Interesting to see all the ginormous plants and stuff. I wonder what the young mage has to do with all of this. And I wonder what the Baroness's plans are. What happens if I go this way? Oh, I see. It's just to backtrack in case. Got it. The story is suddenly a lot more complex than I expected. Ah, lovebirds. I just shattered the lovebirds. My bad. Oh man, what a beautiful view. It would be so difficult to actually live in a place like this, but it would just be beautiful. Also, look at the floating mountain up there. A little less realistic, that. If I go down there, do I have a way of getting back up? I kind of feel like if I better keep checking out up here just in case I got no way of getting back up, because it's possible if I go back there I won't be able to backtrack, so better do everything here I can. It's also possible if I try and jump down there it'll just warp me back up here, but I don't want to risk it. I want to try out everything here while I can. More crows. Crows of Education. That's the 14th pack. We are now 2/3 of the way through the game. Okay. I guess I'll go back this way and hop down. What a beautiful view. That is a really big pig. My goodness, look at this pig. It is huge. Think of how many bacon sandwiches you can make with that pig. At least 2, right? I actually don't know how bacon sandwiches work, so. Inside the barn, Mira wrapped her arms around him and kissed him hard. They both fell to the floor, kissing and touching each other's bodies for almost an hour. Which is clearly the thing to do after your farm has been set on fire. The wooden floor became wet from their sweat, and the sound of their muffled moans still filled the barn. Lurvin groaned when Myra's tongue slacked across his. She had no idea how hard it was for him to settle for just this. The more Mira touched him, the more she tested his control until he was ready to burst forth. Lurvin wanted more than just kisses and hand-holding, but he knew he could never have more until they were husband and wife. He raised his head and stared at her, panting with his mouth wide open. "What is it?" Mira asked when Lurvin stopped. She was not ready to stop kissing him. "Mira, will you?" The sound of the barn door swinging open made the both of them jump to their feet, and their eyes widened in fear when they heard who it was. "Infidels!" Avid, the barn owner, yelled as he crashed into the barn. "How dare you desecrate my barn with your sins? Forgive us. Lurvin pleaded as he grabbed Myra's hand and stepped in front of her. We'll take our leave now, and you'll never see us again. Too late, Avid replied, raising the hammer in his hand. We'll see how much running around you can do when your legs are broken. Myra grabbed the bucket of water beside her and tossed it at Avid. It was the same water the pigs drank from, and it smelled terrible. Avid could not duck fast enough, and he gagged as the water splashed on him and got into his mouth. Run! Myra yelled, grabbing Lurvin's hand, and ran past Avid. As she ran past the stumbling Avid, she pushed him to the floor and raced out into the back alley. Lurvin followed her. Just before they got out, Avid hauled the hammer in his hand towards them with a bellow. The hammer slammed into Lurvin's leg and he cried out. When Avid saw that the hammer had hit Lurvin's leg, he scrambled back with a look of fear in his eyes. Lurvin's father was a 2-meter-tall blacksmith who was built like a rock. Everyone was scared of him. Avid turned around and took to his heels. Myra placed a hand around Lurvin and helped him until they had gone far away from the barn. Then she stopped to examine Lurvin's foot. I think it's broken, she said. Don't worry, Mother will know what to do. Myra helped Lurvin to her hut. When she got there, she found her mother sitting on the porch staring into the distance. She looked worried, and Myra rushed to her side. What is it? She asked her mother. It's your father, Myra's mother replied. He took his sword and said he's gone after the mercenary. What? Myra was surprised. Mother, look after Lurvin. I'll go and bring father back home. Before her mother could protest, she was gone, racing in the direction her father had gone. Well, the man's gonna die. That's probably not gonna end well for him. We can all agree on that, right? How far down there can we go? To the water's edge, I guess. Kind of pretty to look at. But nothing down here to actually see or do. Ton of crows up there. Wow, there's a lot of crows up there. Look at them going in a circle like that. Okay. Gotta find a bunny so I can do that. Or can I just take the mana from this pig? Cannot interact, so... Well, I guess I'll try getting down here again. Oh, there it is. Bunny, 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 bunny. And now back this way. That is a really big pig. Well, I tried to hop on top of this, but I can't, so I'll just shoot that instead. Ooh, that's cool. Please don't tell me I gotta go back and get more energy from the bunny. I gotta go back and get more energy from the bunny. Okay. It's fine, I know how to do that. It'll just take a second. That's all. Okay, it's not green. There's another bunny I've got to take energy from. Great. Actually, that's not necessarily true. Hey, you're still alive. Good. It's possible I just need to completely... There we go. That should reset the bunny. Wow, this is actually taking a while. Yep, that reset the bunny. I could see already that it's green. Oh, man. You could totally do this a little faster than I did it if you know what you're doing. Man, that took so long. Still not sure what's up with all those crows. Maybe they're there for dramatic effect. Maybe there's a hidden secret. Maybe there's not. Maybe there's a meaning to why they're there. Maybe there isn't. No real way of knowing, though. Okay, here we go. Also, haven't forgotten that they killed our doggo. Give me a pencil. I'll go avenge doggo. There we go. Poor guys. They were only, like, kissing. So, come on. Just let the kids kiss. Come on, man. Okay, point of no return. Another nightmare? Probably. Okay, if they're good with the continuity, 2 days ago, then 1 day ago, which means we are coming to the day of. The day of the conflict and the confrontation. Also, her ears are pointy, I just realized. Like an elf. Expecting another jump scare from this thing. Okay, we can run this time. Good. Don't mind if I do. Is this the exact same cave? Hard to tell. Okay, we can run, but we can't jump this time. Okay, we can no longer run now that we have this staff. Ah, there's something walking around. Great. Where do I go with this thing? I feel like I'm making one big circle. You stay over there. And leave me alone. Okay, here we go again. Haha. Can't jump scare me if I close my eyes. Wakey, wakey. frog. Oh man, look at that mountain range. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that is just gorgeous. Can I go in here? I cannot. Anything else I might need to see? Doesn't look like it. Okay, here's this thing that we can climb up. Whole lot of frogs. Man, that is just beautiful mountains. Okay, guess we can't go that way. Up this way then. Here we go. Ooh, statue of a swordsman. There's something about these statues that just strikes me as noble. Well, split path. I'm going this way. More crows. Crows of Pluviophile. 15th pack of crows. Okay, still haven't missed any. Let's go. Haven't missed a one. Okay, making sure there wasn't like a hidden path I might have missed. Huh. Okay. Well, where do I want to push this? Let me figure that out before I actually do push it. Up there, maybe? That looks right. Yep, that's where I want to push it. Way back here. Okay. Let's start. Want to give myself as much room as possible, so I would really hate to soft lock myself. Whether that's possible in this game or not, I don't know, and I don't really want to find out either. Missed. There we go. Up we go. And here we are. Looks like eventually we'll be able to go over there. Oh. Okay, that is interesting. What are we supposed to shoot at? Okay, I can... Can I? Man, I thought I could hop on this and do some parkour over there, but I guess not. No. Huh. Can't go over there either. This is a little annoying. For the first time, it's not clear what I'm supposed to do. I have the energy from the bunny, so I guess I could go back down. But, like, what will I do when I do? There's nothing here. So... Well, there's also no way for me to go back over there. So whatever it is, it must be up. It has to be. They wouldn't put the bunny there if there wasn't something up there for me to use it on, but I didn't see a thing. I didn't see a hint of a thing. This rope is my only real indication, but, like... Well, I'm lost. I really don't know what I'm supposed to do now. I got energy from the bunny, so clearly I need to use the energy somewhere, but where? Is this another one of those instances where I'm stupid? Like where I wasn't able to grab the books? Cannot interact with these. I can jump on them, but invisible wall. Which is lame because I could totally get over there, but invisible wall. That's annoying. I can see a chest right there. Can't get to it. Can't interact with this. I definitely cannot make that jump either. I can't come even close. Yeah, that's not happening. So, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. I grab the bunny's energy. Come up here. I might be able to go back that way, maybe? That would be a really big jump, though. I feel like that's not what I'm supposed to do, though. Oh, that would be... I don't think I can. Tempted to look up a video and see how someone else did it. Because I am clueless. Have the bunny's mana. Where am I supposed to go with it? There's no way I can make that jump. And I don't see anything that I can shoot this at to, like, make a bridge, which very clearly that's what's supposed to happen. There's supposed to be a bridge or something that comes out of this, but I got no target. Pulled up a video. Okay, I'm fast forwarding to the part where I'm at right now. They got the bunny's energy. Man, they beat the game in only 2.5 hours. Okay, they got the bunny's energy, and then... You could do this, apparently. I never would have figured this out. Okay, I'm so glad I looked that up. Man, that helps so much. Oh, man. I never would have figured that out. There's no indication that that could work. And I had to get so close to that in order for it to work as well. After leaving the village, Tudixo made his way home. He moved quickly, eager to get as far away from the site of his deeds. Once in a while, he would raise his head and see the plume of smoke still rising to the heavens. The sight riddled him with guilt. Just before he arrived home, he found himself unable to continue. He could not face Benel like this. She would take one look at him and know he had done something terrible again. How many times could he break her heart like this? Tudixo sat down at the riverbank and gazed into the flowing water with empty, pale gray eyes. There was a full moon in the sky, and its brightness reflected on the waves. Taking out his sword and his pistol, he laid it on the rock beside him. Henrik was standing behind the oblivious Tudixo, a sword clutched in his hand. He had given chase after him, stopping to ask people on the road if they had seen the mercenary wearing a black cloak and walking alone. It was a long journey, but he had found his target. Tudixo grabbed the sword and began to creep towards Henrik grabbed the sword and began to creep towards Tudixo. When he was close, he stopped and pointed it at him. "Time for you to pay for your dastardly act," he shouted at Tudixo, waking him up. Tudixo jumped to his feet and grabbed his weapons from the floor. Then he paused when he saw Henrik standing in front of him. "Don't do this," he said with a long sigh. "I don't want to cause any more trouble than I have." "Too late for that," Henrik replied, moving closer. "You burned down the sacred tree of my clan, and for that you shall die." "I had to follow the Baron's orders, or he would have me thrown in the dungeon. I have a daughter to take care of." Henrik shook his head. "I also have a daughter that looks up to me. How can I look her in the face knowing I allowed you to destroy the legacy of my people?" "You don't have to do this," Tudixo pleaded. "I am not your enemy." "Enough!" Henrik raised his sword. "Now die!" he yelled as he dashed towards Tudixo. The two men fought long and hard. Henrik fought to kill, aiming his swords at Tudixo's heart and head. Mad with rage, he did not notice that Tudixo only fought to defend himself. As they fought, Tudixo's pistol fell to the floor, and he rushed to pick it up, but Henrik threw a dagger right through his hand. Tudixo cried as the dagger impaled his hand into the ground. Henrik walked forward and picked up the pistol. Then he pointed it at Tudixo. "Wait!" Tudixo called out, but it was too late. Henrik shot him point blank in the head before he could finish his plea. He watched as the body fell to the ground. Blood and brain matter splattered everywhere. The hat on Tudixo's head fell into the river and floated away. Henrik removed the dagger stuck in Tudixo's hand. Then he stopped to stare at the body. Henrik had hoped he would feel some relief by killing the man who destroyed his clan's legacy. Yet Henrik's heart felt hollow. Even worse was the feeling of guilt that accompanied the hollow feeling. Closing his eyes, he turned away from the body and made his way home. Behind him, forgotten in the grass, was the necklace Tudixo had ripped from his neck as they fought. The necklace that bore his name. Well, that got dark. Also, Henrik won. Wasn't expecting that. Poor Tudixo. Poor everybody. Everyone is just having it so hard, right? It's not fair to anyone or anything. And that's where we're going to leave it. I really hope that they let me continue playing this another day, but if not, that's just where we're going to have to leave it. So, regardless, I hope everyone has enjoyed this. That has been the Redress of Mira, out now for PlayStation and Xbox. I will be back on Sunday to continue my playthrough of Seabed, a Yuri visual novel, so be on the lookout for that. Shout out to the lurkers, the people who were here throughout the whole stream. Until next time, on behalf of East Asia Soft, I have been Skull. Using the reticle is the best way to play this game. Have yourselves a great day and a great weekend, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.